This next fight, though, this one's a rematch. This next fight.
It is a rematch.
So this one is Groovy Lando Veneta versus Bobby King Green, and this one's at 155 pounds. In that first fight, Groovy Lando came out and picked him apart right away.
Oh, dude, he almost knocked him out.
He dropped him in the first round, and he was working him, and unfortunately, he landed a knee. And the knee didn't even really land.
It wasn't the knee. It was the thigh that hit. But, yeah. I mean, he still was down.
He was a downed opponent, and it happens. But
they took a point, so it was a 9-9 round.
Yep, they took that point away and made it a 9-9 round, and the fight ended up going to a draw. So now if they don't take that point away...
He wins.
Lando Veneta wins fight 1.
It's also good to note that fight 1, even though it was back in, I think, 2017, they did not use the new rule set.
Yep.
So... if they had used the new rule set, it could have been a 9-8 round.
Potentially.
And he still would have won. Because he knocked down, what's his face, and almost finished him.
Yes.
Green. He almost finished Green. That could have been a 10-8, but the point reduction made it a 10-9.
Yeah.
Or a 9-9.
Yeah.
Or because they didn't use new rules. Now, under the new rules, that would have been a 10-8 round.
That would have been a 2-point deduction.
So.
And that being the 2-point deduction... is what would have made it so that Lando
well, then it would have been an 8-8, and it still would have been a draw.
No, because Lando won that round anyway.
I know, and I'm saying, you're not listening to me. He knocked him down. It would have been a 10-8 round for Lando had he not done that knee.
Oh, yeah, potentially.
Under the new rule set, because they weren't under the new rule set.
Well, maybe, potentially, because even then after that,
it's highly possible.
Bobby Green, he still did good after that.
No, he did great. That's because the knee wasn't really a knee.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. Like, I don't think that was enough to say a 10-8 on that. I think that potentially if it had kept going the way that it was going right before that knee, it probably doesn't even make it to the end of the round.
Probably not.
I don't think it makes it to the end of the round. I think that Lando just made one mistake, and that ended up costing him the match that he dominated for, I don't know, I don't want to say dominated.
Didn't really dominate.
He controlled the match for 15 minutes.
I think he landed the better shots throughout the entire fight. If you watch, he threw a lot of really heavy leg kicks that did bother him. Threw a lot of body shots, a lot of strikes that you could see Green's head get snapped back. The issue, I think, what the judges were looking at was the blood. Because Veneta's face would look like a meat grinder.
Well, he got beat up a little bit there in the second round because he was taking that back position there and slipped off and started getting hit with some heavy with some heavy ground and pound.
Oh, at the end of the first?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's what started it. And then throughout the rest of the fight, you saw the blood everywhere.
Yeah, and you see the blood, but Green wasn't really landing too much outside of a couple 1-2s. He was landing just jabs to the same spot and just spreading that blood out. So it looked a lot worse than it actually was.
Yep.
So, I mean, I still had Veneta winning that fight either way.
Yeah.
And I think, we saw Green.
Well, before we get to our picks, though, we still want to talk about the rest of their stuff, too. So.
Well, that's what I'm saying. We saw Green... was it a month ago maybe when he came back?
Yeah, it wasn't too long ago.
It wasn't very long ago. How long ago was it when we saw Green? We saw Green, last month fight Clay Guida, and he looked really, really good against Guida.
But like you were talking about shot fighters, Clay Guida's one of those guys.
Right. Clay Guida wasn't something that's like super impressive, but it's one of those guys. It's another name. Guida was trying to take him down.
The problem for me, though, is outside of that one, though. He lost to Francisco Trinaldo right before that. He's really only 4-1-1 outside of that Clay Guida fight. And that Clay Guida fight, it's not as impressive. It's still a win. It's still a name. It's still a notable fight there, but it's just not as impressive as if you would have beat Clay Guida 5 years ago.
Exactly.
So, to me... Not a super great win for him. It's good that it puts him back in the win column. But I don't know. I'm not super impressed by that one.
Yeah, I wasn't super impressed, but he did look good. His striking looked good. Yeah. His striking always looks good. He's got good boxing. He's a boxer. He
did look good, and I actually picked Clay Guida to win that match.
So, I think that's one where we split on because I had Green in that one.
So, yeah. Now, so let's talk a little bit about these guys overall, though. Lando Veneta, he's 11-4 overall in MMA. He's 28 years old. He's 5 feet 9 inches tall. He's 3-4-2 inside of the UFC. He has 2 draws, which is very weird. Oftentimes it's hard for people to even get 1 draw, let alone 2 draws.
Right.
One of them was that split decision draw against Bobby Green because of the point. But he's also coming off of a decision win right now over Yancy Medeiros. Lando has 3 performance of the night bonuses. So you're going to look for something that's, exciting. I really like watching his ground game. He started out as a wrestler. He was a D1 wrestler for a semester at the University of Tennessee before he dropped out to be a fighter himself. He's a brown belt in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. So I'm pretty excited about all those accomplishments. Former top shelf 155-pound champion. So he's got 5 submission wins. He has 4 knockouts, and he has 2 decisions to his record. With Bobby Green, Bobby Green, he wrestled as well. He's a 2-time high school state placer. He trains in boxing. He's a blue belt in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu from what I found. He might be a purple belt now or not, but what I found, he was a blue belt. He's a former King of the Cage 155-pound and 170-pound champion. The former TFA 155-pound champion and the former WFC 155-pound champion. He has 9 submissions overall to his record. He has 8 knockouts and 8 decisions. So he can fight everywhere. What do you think? How do you think this fight's going to go?
Yeah, so for me, I think this fight's probably going to go exactly how the first one went. But I don't think we're going to see Venata making a mistake again in terms of getting that point reduction for an illegal knee.
Yep.
And I've got Venata winning this one by decision.
Yes, same thing for me.
And a potential fight of the night alert.
Potential fight of the night. I got that marked as a potential fight of the night. The last one was super fun. This one I think is going to be super fun. I just don't see how Bobby Green's going to get caught up enough to what Lando was doing to him last time.
Well, in the 3rd round, we did see Green almost knock out Venata. Venata was saved by the bell. If there was a 4th round, if we were going championship rounds, I think Green ends up taking that one by knockout going in that 4th round.
But you also have to think about the energy that he expended early on in the 1st round trying to finish him.
Yeah.
So that could have played into effect going into that. So we both got Lando by decision. That's another one where we picked the same. This is crazy.
All right.
So then we move on to the next fight on the main card. This one is Vicente Luque versus Randy Brown at 170 pounds. Vicente Luque, he's Brazilian. He's 18-7-1 overall. He's 28 years old, 5 feet 11 inches tall, and he's 12-4 in the UFC, including his time on Tough. He's coming off of a win over Nico Price by doctor stoppage due to an eye injury. At this point, though, he has beaten Nico twice inside of the UFC. He is fighting Randy Brown. Randy Brown is a Jamaican. He's 12-3. He's 30 years old, 6 feet 3 inches tall, 6-3 in the UFC, and he's on a 2-fight win streak, coming off of a unanimous decision win over Warley Alves.
Yeah.
What do you think about these guys?
Vicente Luque has been in the UFC since 2015. And he went on quite a tear. I mean, his only 2 losses in the UFC are to Leon Edwards and Stephen Thompson.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that's pretty good. And that's, I guess we should note that he did lose on the Ultimate Fighter finale. So I think that technically counts as a UFC loss.
Yeah, that's a UFC loss.
So he does have 3 losses in the UFC. But that was his debut, the Ultimate Fighter finale against Michael Graves. Lost that fight. Since then, he's beaten Bilal Muhammad, Nico Price twice, Brian Barberina, Chad LaPrice,
and
Mike Perry, the guy
by split decision,
who I was not impressed with. I just don't like him as a person.
Well, I mean, you're impressed with his fighting. You're not impressed.
I was
with him
impressed
as a person.
with yeah.
Yes. So he's got a lot of notable wins. He's 8-2 in his last 10 fights.
Yeah.
He's been on a tear. He's got 10 knockouts. He has 7 submissions, and he has 2 decisions. So he's a finisher. You're looking for him to finish. He's got a brown belt in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu as well. Randy Brown, though, he's tough too. Like we said, he's on a 2-fight win streak right now. He lost to Bilal Muhammad, though.
Yep. He also lost to Nico Price.
He lost to Bilal Muhammad by decision, whereas Vicente finished him.
Yep.
So you look at that, it's hard to say. He knocked out Bilal Muhammad in round 1. Vicente knocked him out in round 1. Whereas Randy Brown lost by decision. So sometimes those knockouts in round 1, they don't really necessarily mean as much.
Nico Price knocked him out in round 2.
Nico Price knocked him out, who was beaten twice.
And they both share a loss to Michael Graves.
And they both share a loss to Michael Graves. So right there, that's the problem that I have with it. But Randy Brown, he has 6 knockouts on his record. He has 4 submissions. He has 2 decisions. He started boxing back in 2005, so he's got good hands. He's a purple belt in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, so he's really trying to make things diverse. And as you can tell by his record, he has some submissions and knockouts. So he's another guy who's going to look to be a threat anywhere the fight is at. He's also the former Ring of Combat 170-pound champion a long time ago. I just don't think it's going to be enough.
Yeah, it's going to be something that I think is, like I said, I think this is another potential fight of the night.
It's going to be a fun one.
I think it was Vicente Luque has 3 fight of the night bonuses already in his UFC career. So it's pretty crazy.
It's very possible.
Yeah, pull up his wiki real quick. I'm pretty sure he has 3. I think he has 5 bonuses overall, 3 fight of the nights, and 2 performance bonuses. It could be, if it's not him, it's Brown, one of those two, but I'm pretty sure it's Luque. When it comes to Brown, he has really, really quick hands. And like you said, he's been boxing for a while now.
2005.
You're looking 15 years he's been boxing. He's got some good hands, man. He'll throw occasional kicks. He kind of just like pokes him out there more to keep distance range.
So he's got 2 bonuses. He's got a performance of the night bonus and a fight of the night bonus. Actually, he's got 2 performance of the nights, and he's got 3 fight of the night bonuses.
Yeah, so I was right.
That's 5 awards overall. So you're gonna see an exciting fight.
So yeah, that's the point.
What we kind of
he has 3 fight of the nights already. Mm-hmm. This is another one that could potentially be a fight of the night.
Yep.
But either way, as we were talking about Brown, he's got his boxing, been boxing 15 years, really quick hands.
Yep.
He kind of pokes kicks out every once in a while, but he doesn't throw a lot of kicks.
Mm-hmm.
Haven't really seen him on the ground, but he is strong in the clinch. That could, come from his boxing days as well, where, you do a little bit of clinch work there. But ultimately, I think both fighters are probably solid on the ground.
I think they're close enough to shut each other down.
They're close enough to keep it down, or to keep it from going down. Or if it does go down, it'll just be kind of a stalemate. But I've got Luque, man, destroying his legs.
Yeah.
Because Brown leaves
it
left,
out there.
His left lead leg,
there, yeah.
He sticks it out there. Almost like a karate stance, which is weird for a boxer.
Yeah.
But that's something I noticed, that he sticks that leg out there, and Luque will take your leg if you give it to him.
Yep.
So I think Luque is just going to destroy that leg in the first round and a half, and towards the later part of the second round, you're going to see a Luque knockout win.
Ooh, so you got a round 2 knockout. So with Luque here, I agree with you that it's going to be a knockout. And I think that sometimes when you put boxers against Thai-style fighters, those guys with that Muay Thai experience, like Luque has, they're going to have the advantage as the Muay Thai guy because you have more tools. Not only do you have your fist, but you're also really trained with your elbows, with your knees, and with your feet. So you have the ability to control the range a little bit, stay out of that boxing range, and still be able to land those kicks. I think you're going to see a lot of that. I think you are going to see a lot of leg kicks, but I don't see the knockout coming until round 3.
Okay.
So we got a knockout round 3
All
right
right.
there. So then